Hello, Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. Putting together a little special episode of Odds and Ends for you guys this morning. Today is Christmas Eve here in the U.S. or anywhere in the world for that matter. Christmas has always been a special time here at my house and my family, and I want to just take this opportunity to wish all my many viewers and subscribers out there a very Merry Christmas. Christmas is a time that we celebrate the birth of the baby Jesus, which is a very important thing for us personally. And I know that may not be politically correct in this day and age, but I'm a little old-fashioned, and that's the way I am, and that's what we're going to do today. So anyway, I want to, again, just wish everybody out there Merry Christmas, and I also want to share a couple of things that come into the shop, because we've had some special items sent along as Christmas presents, and I wanted to share those on Christmas Day. So we're going to get this video out probably sometime tonight on Christmas Eve, so my viewers in Europe and on the other side of the date line where it becomes Christmas earlier can actually watch it on Christmas Day, and then of course it'll catch up as it goes around the world. Still amazes me how many people around this whole planet are watching the channel out there. Very exciting. So anyway, let's get in here, and I'm going to show you a few items that have come in. I'm also going to share a Christmas memory from my past that's tool related that I think you guys will enjoy. So first, got a little care package here in the mail with some Christmas goodies in it. They all kind of got flipped over in postage, but got some Christmas fudge that was sent to me. Some good homemade Christmas fudge. I love fudge, and I've already tried this, and this fudge is excellent. And good. And this came to me from my good buddy Stan Zinkowski out in California. And Stan, as you probably know if you watch a lot of these different YouTube channels, is also a YouTube contributor, machinist, does a lot of surface grinder work in particular, but does some other stuff as well. But anyway, Stan, he also put together the Barzy Summer Bash this past summer that a bunch of us went out to. But anyway, Stan was kind enough to send along a little care package. So Stan, these are excellent. I have been enjoying mine and going to continue enjoying them. So thanks for sending those along. And as long as we're talking about Stan, I want to also revisit this a little bit. So a couple of weeks ago, Stan sent these squares back that he did a regrind on. And he has since posted a video on his website of him working on these squares on his YouTube channel. And if you don't watch Stan's channel and you're interested in seeing how this was done, I would strongly encourage you to go over there and take a peek at Stan's channel. And I'll put a link here and also down in the comments that you can link to. But go check out Stan's channel. He's got a really good site, and I think you guys would enjoy it and get a chance to see the work being done to these Machinist Squares. And Stan, you did an excellent job cleaning these up and getting them ready. And man, I owe you, buddy. I owe you big time. He was wanting to know if I would sell these to him, and I've decided I'm going to hang on to them because I think I really like them myself a lot. They're really nice, thick squares that I think are going to really be handy for all kinds of things. So who knows, maybe Stan will make him a set. He's more than capable of. He just needs to take the time and do it. That'd be a cool project, Stan. I think a lot of guys would enjoy seeing that. Thanks a lot, Stan. So up next here, we got a care package from Cal Beretta, and Dave actually came down and visited me at the museum. I don't know, it's been a month or so ago now. Him and his wife were traveling through and stopped by and visited. And just as a reminder, in the previous Odds and Ends, he gave me the squadron hat and challenge coin from his Marine Corps unit when he was here. But when he was here, we were visiting, and he asked me, he said, I see y'all use a lot of square head bolts out here at the museum. Like, yeah, you know, that's period correct for a lot of what we do at the museum. And he said, well, I got a bunch of square head bolts that I'll never use, and I'll just send them down to you. And we got some bolt bins that we keep these in. And anyway, he cut up a selection of some square head stuff and sent it down. And also, really cool, threw in a bunch of end mills here. Some of these are regrind, some of these are real sharp. Some of them probably could use a sharpening, but still they're all good end mills. And Anyway, we'll add these to the collection, and they will get used at some point in time. And then also had a couple of pretty cool wrenches. So anyway, this is a little was that Bonnie Gin adjustable little wrench here with the curved handle, kind of cool. And another little wrench here, just a regular wrench. So anyway, sent along some nice items here. So Dave, again, thank you very much. Enjoyed getting to visit with you a couple of weeks ago, and so got some good items here that we can definitely put to use. And we'll put the end mills into storage, so they'll be available when we need them. And all the bolts and stuff, like I said, we'll put those in the bolt bins out at the museum, and they too will get used, I promise. Thanks a lot. So up next here, another care package came in. This one from my buddy Charles Marlin, who lives over outside of Las Vegas, Nevada. And Charles and I have kind of collaborated on several projects. Charles does a lot of drawing and SolidWorks. He's a SolidWorks guru in my opinion, and has really helped me out with drawing some stuff up. Also does some 3D printing and helped me in the past with some of my patterns that I've done for casting and what have you. But Charles, actually a couple of months ago on his 50th birthday, that him and his wife were traveling up in Maine, and they went by the Belfast and Moosehead Lake Railroad, and I got to ride the train up there. And in fact, he shot me some pictures and stuff. On his 50th birthday, they actually let him do a cab ride up in the locomotive, pulling the train up there. So he was pretty excited about that. Anyway, he sent along, he bought me a hat and a shirt as a souvenir and sent them to me, and also this little mini ratcheting precision screwdriver set. So this is like a regular, screwdriver set that has the individual bits, but these are all little tiny ones. I actually don't have anything like this. So anyway, another nice little item. But really, this was kind of the gravy, I guess, in the package. The real thing that Charles was sending me was this. And you say, well, what is that? Well, again, Charles being the SolidWorks guru, he was doing some drawings of my furnace that I'm building, and sending them back and forth to me. And I'll have those available down the road once we kind of get them all figured out. If anybody would like to get them, if you have SolidWorks and interested in building the furnace, I'll make those available. But in the process of doing it, he drew up plans on how to make, or drew up in SolidWorks, a hinge mechanism for the lid, to be able to pick the lid up off and move the lid off the furnace. And that was something I was going to have to figure out. And he drew it all up in SolidWorks, and when he sent me the drawings, I'm like, wow, that's perfect. And I said, can you make me some mechanical drawings of that so I can fabricate it? And he said, I'll tell you what, I'll do you one better. He says, I'll just go ahead and fab it for you. And Charles is also an expert welder, and does a lot of fabrication work, and is really set up more for fabrication work than I am, doing more machine shop work. So anyway, he went out one weekend and basically built this whole lid mechanism, lid lifting mechanism, and put it in a box and sent it to me. So I will go over this in more detail in one of my foundry furnace videos down the road, and let you guys see it, and also see how we install it and put it onto the furnace. But this is huge. This is going to be a tremendous time saver for me in getting my furnace built. Quite honestly, when it comes to fabrication work like this is not my specialty. I can do it, but there are other people out there that are much more suited and set up for doing this kind of work. And Charles, you nailed it. I've already kind of dry fit this on the furnace. It's going to work perfect, and I can't wait to get it installed. And anyway, this is the handle that will go up in here to lift it. This is actually a mock-up. The handle will be longer. But he even sent a mock-up of what the handle should look like. Anyway, Charles, buddy, I owe you big time again. Thanks a lot. This is going to be great. And again, we'll be following up with more details on this later. Well, I promised you guys a Christmas memory, and I thought I would share the story about this anvil and how this anvil came to be mine. And this goes back all the way to about 1981. I was a freshman in high school at the time, and I was actually taking a metals technology class in high school. It was an old shop class, the stuff that is hard to find in schools anymore. And I had a great teacher by the name of Dave Averett, who was my metals teacher. Learned an awful lot of really cool stuff from him my freshman year in high school that I use to this day. And it's been a great influence on me throughout my life, as all my shop teachers in school were. But the interesting thing about Mr. Averett was that he was a blacksmith. And of course he was a metals shop teacher, but he was a blacksmith, and he actually had a blacksmith shop set up in class. And when I was a student there, like most shop classes, let's just face it, most of the kids in the shop class, they're the ones that don't want to be anywhere else, and they really don't care about being in shop either. At least that was the way it was when I was in school, which is very unfortunate. And but there was a couple of people in class, myself included, that was very interested, that wanted to learn, and really I was drawn to the blacksmithing. That was just absolutely amazing to me. And I spent almost all of my time in class back there where he had a little forge set up and beating on iron and learning the basics of blacksmithing. I got so interested in it that I wanted to set up a blacksmith shop at home. So in my metals class, I actually built a forge, and it was just a really, really simple forge. I found a disc off of an old disc hair that I used as a forge pan, welded a piece of T-pipe up underneath the bottom of it to let the air go up through the bottom, and made some rebar legs. It was just a very, very basic, very simple forge pan, and I took it home. I didn't have a hand crank blower at that time. I picked one up later, but at first I was just using a little hair dryer as a blower, but I didn't have an anvil. And I actually had found a big chunk of metal at a scrapyard or somewhere, and I was actually out there beating on that big hunk of metal, but I didn't have an anvil. I needed an anvil really bad to be able to get my little blacksmith shop going. And at that time, being a freshman in high school, I really didn't have a lot of money. I did have a job or two, but I really wasn't making a lot of money. I was looking hard, trying to find an anvil, couldn't find one anywhere. Well, Christmas morning rolls around, and it was a tradition on my family. On Christmas morning, I would go to my grandmother's house. In fact, all of our family on my dad's side, we'd all go to my grandmother's house on Christmas morning, and we would have lunch at her house. So we'd usually get up, Santa Claus would come at the house, then we'd pack up and go to my grandmother's house, and all of my cousins and uncles and aunts and everybody would be there. It'd be a huge gathering. My dad had, I think, 6 brothers and sisters all together, so it was a pretty good size gathering at my grandmother's house. And my grandmother, who I love dearly, lost her a couple of years ago. Quite honestly, she didn't have a lot of money, and she had so many grandkids and so many children and so many people over her house. She would always give everybody a gift, but it usually was just something small. And when you're a kid, quite honestly, it wasn't that exciting. You might get a pair of socks or something like that for Christmas. And I can just always remember, I love my grandmother dearly, but on Christmas, it was like, okay, we got to go over there and get our socks. Not too exciting. Well, this year, I was about 14 years old, and they had done all the gift giving, and I had not received a gift. And I was old enough at that time that I was like, well, she forgot. It got misplaced. I'm not going to worry about it. It's probably just a pair of socks anyway. Not going to worry about it. Well, after a little while, my grandmother came up to me. She says, "Oh, I forgot your present." I said, "Okay." She says, "It's out in the garage." And she walked me to her garage door, and right there on her step was this anvil. And it absolutely blew me away. She didn't spend a single dime on it, but this anvil was her father's anvil, my great-grandfather's anvil, Mr. Mose Fleming. And Mose Fleming, who I'd never had a chance to meet, he died long before I was born. But he's the same person that owned the safe that I have been restoring. But anyway, this was his anvil that he used on his farm. And for whatever reason, it ended up in my grandmother's garage. And she'd been tripping over it for years, really didn't want it anymore, had no use for it whatsoever. And she was more than happy to pass this down to me. And I look back over my life of all the Christmas presents I've ever received, and this is probably the one that means the most to me. It's a tool that belonged to a relative, and it's something that I have used and cherished for many, many years since. And it's one of the few Christmas presents that I received however many years ago that's what it was, that I still have and that I still use and still cherish. And anyway, it was very special to me then, and it's still very special to me. So anyway, that's a Christmas memory from my past. I don't have hardly any tools that belonged to relatives of mine, to family members of mine. I have this anvil, and I have one little small ball peen hammer that belonged to my grandfather, and those two tools are two tools that I would never part with, that mean the most to me. And that little ball peen hammer, you know, there's nothing special about it at all, but to me it's priceless. But anyway, really cool anvil. I'll zoom you guys on here and let you take a look at it. So this anvil, it says, I think it says Sodefords on there, S-O-D-E-F-O-R-D-S, made in Sweden, weighs 77 pounds, and all in all, it's in pretty darn good condition. The face on it's still real good. You know, yeah, I got a couple little places here on the corners, but you know, it's in excellent shape. This anvil has served me well and has been something that I have used a lot over the years, and again, I cherish it and wouldn't trade it for anything. Well, that'll pretty much be a wrap on this episode. I will just comment that I do know for a fact that there are a couple of packages that are in transit to me right now that people have told me they've sent me some stuff. And if you've sent me something, it just hasn't showed up yet. It'll probably get here soon. In fact, the mail is still going to run today, but I had to go ahead and get this done, so some of it may even show up today. I know for a fact I've got one item coming from England, and that one's going to be kind of fun. It's going to be a contest giveaway, and I'm not going to give out any more details than that, but we've got a pretty cool item that someone's sending down for us to do a giveaway on, so hopefully that'll show up soon. I got one item coming from Canada that I'm aware of that's supposed to have already been shipped, and at least one or maybe even two from here in the US that people have told me they've shipped. One of them said, I shipped you something, but it ain't going to get there by Christmas. But anyway, we'll follow up with those down the road in a future video. But again, I just want to thank all my viewers out there. You guys are awesome. It is Christmas, and I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas. I hope that you are able to spend this most great day of all days with your family and with your friends and with your loved ones, and that you have a great Christmas this year. And thank you so much for everybody out there that watches the channel, that subscribes to the channel, leaves me comments and everything else. You know, this thing has really grown a lot bigger than I ever expected it would do. And I've said that many times in the past, and it still just blows me away that, you know, we're pushing 50,000 subscribers on the channel right now. It won't be long, I don't think, before we'll hit that milestone. And I just want to thank all of you guys for taking the time to watch these videos. And with that, we'll sign off. Go spend some time with your family. Go spend some time with your friends and loved ones. And have a Merry Christmas.